Next week I'm going to start tying at work again.
What's going on? What's going on, chat? How's it going? Excuse me. It's actually cool enough. I actually don't need the AC today. I just had it on to cool it down a little bit. Got the window open though. All right, what is going on, chat? Yo, Gene, what's up? How you doing? Karagaro coming in with how many months now? Holy, 51 months. Sheesh, you gotta lurk because you gotta sleep. All right, thank you, dude. Appreciate it as always. Yo, Lima, what's up, dude? How's it going? How you doing? Jim, how's it going? Eastern North Carolina, as usual. This is a 7-week-year lawsuit ended in court when North Carolina was found guilty of mismanagement of marine fisheries. I don't know where it goes from here. Really, it's for what? With the redfish and everything? With like gill netting redfish, or... This is a 7-week-year lawsuit ended in court when North Carolina was found guilty of mismanaging marine fisheries. Was it like the NOAA or federal? Interesting. Yes, we have the new fiber internet. Have we streamed since then? I don't think so, right? It's absolutely perfect, no issues. I uploaded a 50-minute long video on Mike Rolls Dice just now in literally 2 minutes. It would take me 4 hours to do that previously. But we haven't had a single stream drop. Right now, we're still streaming in 720p. I wanted to make sure things were good. The bitrate's perfect. We're at around like 46, 4700. Most streamers use 6000, 8000 bitrate, but we're capped at 720. But I'm going to start upping the bitrate at some point. I'm going to do some test streams. And then if it's all good and I can handle 6000, 8000 bitrate, we'll pay for the use Restream Premium so I can stream at 1080p to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So we're just waiting to see, but it looks like everything's perfect. We haven't had any frame drops. It's really nice and stable for the entire time. So everything's good. The fiber is, oh my God, it's so nice. You don't really notice it for normal stuff, but like for uploading videos, for streaming, you know, like uploading a stream to the internet, it's a huge difference. So no, it was 100% worth it. What Albies are we doing this year? Well, the Albies are showing up, I think, pretty soon. I know there's been yellowfin tuna right off the beaches here, or not the beaches. There's a mile, or I think it's a mile buoy, and the mile buoy is what signifies a reef. And there's been yellowfin tuna, 80 to 130 pounds, eating blackfish or sea bass apparently. But that's a little too big for the fly rod. But I think we're probably any day now going to start seeing some signs of fish. It's probably going to be like the beginning of September, really. I'm hoping to go Albie fishing some, at least from shore, but I would love to at least maybe get out on a boat, maybe head out to Montauk with one of my buddies or something. But Zeke is away for like a telescope convention. Or no, he just got back and his boat's out of the water for a week. When his boat goes back in the water, we'll do some fishing for sure with him. But I'm going to do some fishing from shore. It's about that time. It's finally cooling down. I can wear neoprene waders and not die of a heat stroke. You know? Striped bass was one fish that was mismanaged. One of 15 fish listed. Studies show no older striped bass, which are the real spawned. Oh, interesting. So I wonder what's going to happen then. Was it like a federal thing then, or the NOAA took him to court or something for mismanaged? Who took the North Carolina government to court is what I'm wondering. All right. Now, that being said, I did have to bang out some videos real quick for Mike Rolls Dice. We're having a brand new Japanese army coming out, so I've been super busy making videos on that, covering the new units and abilities. But I did record a video last night, and it's 3 flies in one video. It's 3 versions of the same fly. So I'll just show you real quick, because you guys are here early. Hold on, you're going to hear a little doot-doot. Maybe not. There you go. There it was. I'll show you real quick. I've seen people tie these in the past, and I've had people tell me they tie them this way because they don't have a hot glue gun. Maybe that's a little bit of a little teaser for you as to what it is. But we got all right, first I'll ask, what fly is this, or what is it based off of? Somebody's got to know, but I just want to see how quick. Calvin was just tying them. But essentially, stripping down a little bit more of a complicated fly to an easier version. And I did 3 different variations, which you can see. There's the pretty much bare bones one, which this works great, and I'll catch albies all day. We have the feather collared version, which is, it'll swim a little bit higher up in the surface, but it'll push in more water. This is kind of like a little bit more what the original fly is kind of like. And then a weighted version with a cone eye. So it's actually 3 flies in one video. It's going to be a pretty long video. But I figured if I just did a video with this fly, it would be probably like 6 minutes, 8 minutes long. So I figured I might as well just tie 3 variations of the same fly, and we'll just make it a big video. because I've been making so many Mike Rolls Dice videos. I've been trying to stay up on the schedule, so I missed the week upload again, but so we have a 3 flying 1 upload. So the Albie Ho, that's right. I'm going to call it the Albie Lizard. That's what I'm going to call this variation. So this is just an Albie Ho without the hot glue gun and running the feathers down the side. But it virtually is kind of the same fly. It doesn't have a lot of the feather fluff and stuff, which will give it a larger profile, which I do like. That's why I kind of added a collared version with palmered hackle. Excuse me. But anyways, that's going to be coming out this weekend. I'm going to edit it tonight and tomorrow. I'll do the voiceover. I had to bang out a quick... It was actually really easy. I just like made some videos. We'll take a look real quick. For Mike Rolls Dice, where I looked at some of the new units and stuff. So I just sat down. I wish it was this easy to make fly tying and like videos covering topics. Because I just sat down at the computer and talked for like 30 minutes or something while looking at the screen or whatever. But I gotta definitely bang out some discussion videos, because now I'm kind of doing these almost regularly on the Mike Rolls Dice. But if you look, by the way, we started like making videos last year. We're at 1,500 subscribers, so, and 120 videos. But we just made this video the other day talking about the article, and then this is the full unit or the full army thing. So similar to kind of like the fly tying subject videos, but just much simpler. So, but this kind of was like, all right, I banged this out. I got to work on some longer form fly tying discussion videos as well. So, but you can see we've been quite busy because I've been building this channel up to help earn a little bit of ad revenue. Because I would like to fix my damn boat one day. Okay? So, eventually it will happen. But that channel's growing pretty quick. But that being said, we still got a ton of fly tying content, especially with the fall run coming up now. So I'm going to start banging out some videos. I'm just going to sit down, talk, record the discussion videos, and then really, I try and go above and beyond on Li Fly's mic and make sure that I edit it in a cool way with tons of clips and footage. But if I just bang them out the audio, then I can take my time and do the editing of the videos, for instance. So, like fishing beaches, fishing bowls, fly fishing for false albacore from the rocks, fly fishing for false albacore from a boat, and just kind of talk about everything and then just go back after and do it. That's kind of how I do it anyway, but yeah, I got to stop making excuses and just do it. So, but that being said, we still have some cool flies that we're going to be covering and some long fly tying videos and all that jazz. So, I got some White Claws. I spoiled myself. Well, I went and got those sand deals done and dropped them off in Southampton, so. What's going on, NASCARs? How's it going? Hope everyone is having a great week. Yeah, dude, can't complain. We got a bunch of stuff going on in the miniature world, and I've been doing a ton of flies. Got a bunch of flies done. I have some material coming on the way for some more orders. And we're just going to hang out and tie some Albie flies tonight. Apparently, I got to reset my camera. Give me one sec. We're just going to get in the mood for some Albies and Stripers stuff. What's going on here? Oh. I unplugged it. That's why. Hold on. Give me a sec. I forgot. So what's everyone been up to? The Canac and 86 individuals. Lots of studies listed in ruling. I'm not familiar with what CCANC is. Is that like a North Carolina environmental group or something? Well, good on them. Good on them for doing something. Because otherwise, these MFs will just take every single thing that they can. And then be like, oh, what happened? I don't know what happened. All right. You gotta stay on top of these jerks. I mean, just look at what they're doing with the menhaden fishing. Like, instead of small little boats like we were doing, catching tiny amounts of bunker at a time, there's these gigantic boats that are just absolutely demolishing the bunker populations. Using boats big enough to fit boats that most of us couldn't even afford, like 20, 30 foot, 30 something foot rib boats and stuff to run, what do you call it? Seine nets with boats, which you're not even allowed to do inshore, but offshore, I guess. It's kind of lawless, so you can do what you want. Watch a little of the PMC meetings. You got to stay on top of them. Yeah, that's right, dude. That's why you got to pay attention and support the Manhattan Defenders, the great organization. Paul, forgot his last name, but they're a really great organization. They do a ton for Bunker, the Manhattan Defenders. Highly recommend checking them out, supporting them, as well as you have Stripers Forever. Stripers Forever does a ton for Manhattan, also just striped bass conservation in general. And then the Saltwater Guide Association, which Peter Jenkins and someone else run. And they're really doing, they kind of came out in the past, I forget how many years, but they've been really doing a ton. And they're like going to Congress and stuff like that. So Saltwater Guide Association, Stripers Forever, Manhattan Defenders. I'm sure there's more, but those are the three that I highly recommend checking out and supporting that make a big difference, I think, in our fisheries. Rockfish Buster, what's going on? How's it going, dude? What's up? What's up? All right. Let me get the... I was recording earlier. Let me change some things. Should be good. Camera's up nice and high, which is nice, because I don't need to worry about it. And we'll get some hooks, shall we? I got some of these older hooks. And I have a box with random hooks. Let me just start using these random hooks. Otherwise, I'm never going to. There's a bunch of Mustad big game hooks, the old ones. Ooh, what about a tiny little micro Albie fly to start? It was like a size 6 or 4. Yeah, long time no see. How you doing? Was looking at your groups versus my groups here on the West Coast. All great. Oh, yeah. And if you're into like hunting, the Backcountry Defenders, I think they're called. That's a really great organization that also protects like rivers, and they really fight for public land for hunting and fishing. Because it's crazy for us, like most of the time, most of these rivers, these lakes, these ponds, these are like town property, county property, state property, here on Long Island at least, right? And we have right-of-way laws to allow us to access the beach. Nobody can own the beach, or at least in certain areas. Maybe out west you can. And that's the stewards, that the town stewards. They're like also the God, what's the name? Oh my God, I forgot. No, I think it's the stewards, right? Anyways, they're just essentially, they make sure to protect people's rights for accessing the waterways. But in other parts of the country, like entire vast sections of land and public parks are cut off because of private land. Trout rivers, all these things are like completely are run through private land, and you have no access and stuff. So they try and fight for access for public land, and also to stop them from like drilling in national parks and all this crap they're trying to do nowadays. But anyways, I mean, you kind of have to do something, and it's like really tough to actually really make a big difference, but at least being somewhat vocal about things, because I mean, if you just sit there and do nothing, and then you're like, huh, that's weird, you know, and then next thing you know, you can't access something, or the river's completely dried up, you know. Yo, what's going on, Zeke? It's getting worse? Yeah, I know, it is getting worse. That's the issue. That's why these organizations are so important, because they actually fight for public land rights and stuff, or access. Albies are now target fish by commercial fishermen for the fish oil. Need to keep tabs on this. No food value fish, a salt fly rodder's favorite fish. So I remember the Albie fishing was phenomenal one year. Listen to this. And we were loaded on the rocks, and people were fishing like crazy. I was selling flies. Albies were coming through the inlet every single day, and people were catching fish. Then we saw one of the trawlers going out, and we heard that one of the trawlers like netted an entire gigantic school of albies, and they were selling them for like cat food or something to the city. in the city or somewhere because they were getting like 15 cents a pound or some dumb shit and they had nothing to do for the day. They like wiped out this huge Albie school, and I swear to God, for like 2 weeks, we didn't see a single Albie come through the inlet. They must have killed this like entire school of fish that was hanging out outside the inlet for like weeks, that was coming in, feeding, going out in the ocean, coming in with the tide. Or something like that, because the fishing completely stopped for like a day or two, or for like a week. It was bullshit. Albies have no like size limit. I don't even think Bonito do, because they were like, it's whatever. Nobody, it's like such a small fishery. But now every single person and their mother fishes for false albacore with hoagie jigs. And the freaking On the Water magazine and all these magazines are writing articles. Well, if you bleed them right, they actually taste like sashimi. So now you got all these dumbasses killing every single Albie they catch. It's ridiculous. I understand you can eat them. Hey, let's not encourage people to eat them when there's no regulations on the fish at all. Maybe that's a good idea. But, somebody got paid for the article, so that was cool. And even my buddy Jeff, he's like, they are pretty good to eat. I'm like, I swear to God. Don't piss me off, bro. Like, we already know, God knows what fishing's going to be like. Saltwater fishing like 100 or like 50 years from now, if there's even going to be a fishery. Like, who the hell knows what the hell is going to happen. So like, we need to do as much as we can right now to try and protect our resources, you know what I mean? Because things change pretty fast in our day and age, you know what I mean? And we're like losing species of terrestrial and aquatic, all sorts of species, like year by year. It's ridiculous. And we'll just get to the point to where we'll be like, oh dude, what happened? You know what I mean? 2-3 years without pogies in Rhode Island. Yeah, I mean, I was literally making money doing small scale commercial bunker fishing for a living, and they just stopped showing up. So I'm kind of happy I stopped. The real reason I stopped is because I never got paid. So that's the real reason. But like, the amount of bunker we were catching every year is like the tiniest drop in comparison to a single day of fishing for these Virginia trawlers and these New Jersey boats that go off other states and just decimate the bunker population, you know? But, what are you going to do? Let's go ahead and wrap some body braid, throw an eye on here. I'm trying out some different simple Albie flies. Smoked mackerel, Daggers went down all the way to Providence, Rhode Island. Or draggers. I was like, daggers, what the hell is that? Yeah, the draggers. Yep. Yeah, and there's so much money involved with these corporations and stuff that they have so much influence, just like in classic. And look, I'm a red-blooded American, all right? I hate communists, okay? And I love V8 muscle cars and doing burnouts in intersections, okay? That's a real red-blooded American thing, okay? But we already know, just if you've grown up in this country, that special interests and stuff in politics and all that, we're not going to get into politics, but just in general, you know that there's so much money involved with all this stuff that it's so hard to actually combat it. You know what I mean? That's really the big issue. There's so much money involved that everyone has their sticky little fingers and stuff that, we're all just normal people working our jobs day to day, and meanwhile, everyone else is just destroying everything, making money off of it. I hate to start off immediately off the bat by talking about the destruction of fishing and mankind. But it is, I really should make a video on the future of the striped bass fishing industry. And just striped bass fishing. I should make a video on it. And I should get, like, Peter Jenkins, see if I can get him on here, I think it's a good idea. I donate here to the Golden State Salmon and Steelhead here, and they took striper, really all fish under their umbrella to represent commercial rec and working with tribes to do better. Oh, nice. That's good. Yeah, there's some great, I think there's, what's the name? There's one foundation that is doing crazy work in Maine to restore the salmon fishery, because the salmon fishery got decimated over the years. Northeastern Salmon Foundation, I want to say. What's the name of them? I forgot. Somebody probably knows what the hell they are. I follow on Instagram. Yo, Fly Tie New England, what's up? Where do you get the best deal on solar res? Oh, man, I just order it from saltwaterflies.com. I don't know what's the best price or anything. It's so expensive. To be honest with you, if we find... I really got to do this. I don't have a lot of funds. And I'm like, here's the next thing. I'm telling you right now. Okay? And I don't know why I haven't done this so long ago. I need to get... This is where the next YouTube payout, which just hit my bank or whatever. I need to get from Amazon a motorized little platform that spins and a light box. Why I haven't been doing this for my fly photos, it would just make it so much easier, and it would get really cool shots. I can use it for all of the armies in our miniatures videos to film the army overviews. So I was like, you know what, dude? Because I had a light box, but it was a really shitty one. So I'm going to get a really nice light box with lighting on multiple sides, and then that little turntable thing. But one thing I need to do at some point is spend some money and just buy a bunch of random cheap-ass resins, as well as some really nice brands, and then do a video comparing all of them. Because a lot of people in our community use like Amazon resin or resin from other companies that's like $15 for like 4 ounces or like $20 for 4 ounces. I'm paying what? If we go to saltwaterflies.com, it's like $36 for like 2 ounces now, which that used to be for like 4 ounces back in the day, but now inflation is a bitch. Yeah, it's $39. So I don't know if you can find it cheaper. If you can, get it. But I just buy everything from saltwaterflies.com because the prices are all good. But I will donate to Amazon resins, thick and thin, to you. Okay, all right. I will take it. All right, your boy's working on a budget. Absolutely. We'll talk about it then. You let me know. I got the solar reses. I should probably get at least one name brand resin and then just try some different cheap ones. You know? The pink and white fly featured for tonight is very much like a pink pearl necklace I tie for shad size 4. Yeah, it's a very simple fly. It's essentially an Albie hoe without the hot glue. Feathers tied outwards, crystal flash, and a staz. Super simple. And we're tying something super simple right now. This is like a stripped down Mickelson without the top section. But I'll be honest with you, dude, you'd be surprised how well these simple versions of flies work, you know? Yeah, no, I'm down. That's one that's on the menu. There's a couple other ones. Eventually I'm gonna like order, maybe we'll do it, I mean, before we know it, it might already be Christmas time, but I might do that like the Fly Tires Dungeon box, and we'll see how good of a value that is with all the materials you get. Because those are like crazy cheap. And you get so much stuff. More people need to know about those. Especially beginner guys, you know? It's one thing if you're like a long time fly tire, but if you're a beginner dude, you just want a ton of stuff to play with, that's like a great way. And we have no affiliation with them either, but maybe Fly Tires Dungeon will want to do something in the future, who knows? So I'm going to squeeze the eyes on here because even though they're pretty small, this is a really thin, skinny fly we tied. I'm going to try and get the eyes to kind of conform. Might help if I use super glue, but it looks like I got it. How's the stream look? Does it look any different as usual or no? We're not running a higher bitrate, so it shouldn't necessarily look different, but we also should have 0 frame droppage whatsoever. Yo, Superfly, what's up? Sometimes the simplest ones catch the most fish. Tie wool maggot, just slams the panfish. Oh, yeah. This is something we've emphasized in our tying a lot, is that ugly ugly flies catch fish. There's no other way of saying it. You don't need pretty flies to catch fish. A lot of times we're spending so much more time and effort because we want to, essentially. And we like it, you know, we want the fly to look a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as much as simple flies catch fish, and even ugly flies catch fish, confidence in your fly is a very big thing. And one of the biggest, I'm a very big proponent of not changing your fly every 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Where people will, like, even when there's an Albie blitz or some sort of fish blitz, or even if you're just fishing a river or lake and you know there's trout in there, you should be hitting it. They should be hitting it. A lot of times people just change flies before they even try and change the depth they're fishing in, their retrieve, this and that. A lot of times, really all you got to do is put the fly in front of the fish in the right way and they will eat it. Obviously, certain flies will work better than others, but again, this is why we talked about it in the philosophy of choosing the right fly. And I do need to make more of those videos, because tying like a fly video is one thing. It's great. People enjoy it and they can learn from it. But honestly, those videos where I talk about stuff seems like, man, you get a lot more, I feel like, useful information out of those than just watching me tie a fly, you know? Just gonna have to do some blabbing over the weekend, make some blabbing videos. Yeah. I'm also editing a battle report. We have Invasion America coming out, this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm so busy right now. But that being said, we're going to, I got to stay on top of it. So, both channels are going to be getting a ton of videos, and good videos at that, you know? Sometimes the more beat up a fly gets, the more the fish pound them. Ah, dude. I'll always talk about this, but like catching striped bass up on the North Shore, and we're catching like 40, 50 fish in a day because they're just piled. They just sit right in front of you and they just eat bay anchovies all day. You can just catch as many as you want. It's kind of ridiculous. They're never really like that big, and at some point you kind of just stop catching them because you're like, you just would rather watch them eat than even mess with them. But the flies get tore the hell up, and then there's like barely anything left, and they're still eating it. You know what I mean? Now, it may be different sometimes if you're like casting to a single fish on the flats in ultra clear water, right? You know, but I mean, the majority of the times, dude, you don't need something pretty or fancy. Yeah, this is a nice little fly right here, dude. This reminds me of the, like, Chris Windrum used to tie stuff. If anyone remembers, they used to sell it was like little bottles of kind of glitter glue, and you could take the glitter glue and layer it up in different colors. Do you guys remember what that was? Let's see. I bet you I can find it. This is like this is taking me back down memory lane. He has a museum. I don't remember where all this stuff is. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he's got a museum. Here we go. David Skoke's lobster fly. That's a really cool fly, by the way. That's really sick. Yeah, see, that's from like that dude. He had this shit back in the 90s, I feel like. But let me see here. I don't think he sells it anymore, but there were these bottles of glue that were like glitter glue, paint glue, and he would use it. I brought it up a while ago and he talked about it, and I'm sure it still is on the website somewhere, but I don't know. What fly is on Windrum's front page? What's that? This one? Let's see if we can find it. What's the name of it? It's not the slider. It's gonna be a striper fly, I think. God, I don't remember what it is. Is it? No. It's just a spun deer hair fly, but I'm trying to remember what. Kind of looks like a dragon, but it's not. I don't know. I can tell you right now, that's wool. We could try and tie it. It is like a Catherwoods type style fly. This is wool though. I mean, you could see it clear as day. Deer hair mullet catch more. I'm just trying to see if I can find it. Mullet, mullet, mullet. I don't see it. I don't think he sells it. I think it was just on the front page. I can tell you though right now that this is wool. This looks like wool right here, right? This clearly doesn't look like yeah, it looks like a Catherwood's giant killer, but this doesn't look like deer hair. This looks like wool. Right? There's no way that's deer hair. Look at the difference. And this is deer hair up top. That's interesting. We could try and tie one. I do have wool. That's strange, though. Yeah, I don't know what this is. I have to ask him what it is. It's definitely wool. It's like a Catherwood killer, you know, Bill Catherwood fly, but with wool on it or something. Yeah. But I'm telling you, dude, these little simple Albie flies are nice and easy. So this is like a simplified version of a... It's really small. This is like a simplified version of a epoxy minnow. But look, it's nice. I like all white flies. I'm definitely more... I'm digging more like all white flies a lot more after fishing the Albie hose. So like an all white epoxy minnow is totally fine. But you can just skip the bucktail on top and use the pearl. You could always take a marker and just cut or color it and then just go with color on top. So let's tie another one of these. We'll do that. In fact, we'll use some marker and color. And then, but I want to try one of those, that Catherwood fly. I don't know if we'll do it tonight, but maybe we will. We'll see. I have the same bottle, but the bottle's blue. That's because it's thin resin. The red or pink is thick. Orange is medium, blue is thin, and the green is flex. All right. And that's how it goes. I could probably tell you which, if you give me full ones, I could probably maybe even like, if you blindfold me, I could probably tell you which bottle's which, just from, because how much I handled those damn things over the years. I mean, at this point, SolarRes really should just give me free shit because I've bought in so much and I've promoted it so much for free. It's honestly ridiculous. I want barrels. I repeat, barrels. 55-gallon drums with a little spout. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? Ladies nail polish comes in many colors with glitter added. I use it for heads and it works great. Yeah, it's something like that. But it was like, imagine a little, you know how they have the little glitter paints if for arts and crafts, and you could squeeze it out and you can put it on paper and like it would dry raised. I don't know if you ever, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably older than me too. You probably had kids maybe that would play with that stuff like I did in the 90s or something, whatever. But this was like that, but less glittery. It had glitter, but also in colors, and they would use it to build up the body as opposed to UV resin or epoxy or something, and then you would cover it. Yeah, it's like a glitter glue, but it was made specifically for fly tying. I think it was like Chris's company or Chris's product or something that he had someone make it for him or something. It does. It's not. It's not out anymore. It's not. You can't even really find it. But I have to ask him what the name is because that's like just a piece of history, saltwater fly tying history that I would love to bring up. You know what I mean? Hairline bought Solarez. Good luck. Well, Hairline should be giving me free shit as well. Okay. Hairline hackle. Hairline this. Hairline that. Ridiculous. That being said, I believe I talked to Henry Cowan. He may talk to the dude who runs Hairline and get me in on like a some sort of sponsor thing or something as a creator. We'll see. I have to talk to Henry. We're going to do an interview with Henry at some point. I've been very busy. But and he has, I think, with guiding as well. But at some point, we're going to do a Henry Cowan interview. Yeah, what do you call it? That'll be fun. So, but yeah, I should be getting free shit from everybody. Okay? AI says that the fly is a striper slider special. Well, that makes sense. It's just a slider, right? I don't know if that's a, if we look up that exact, what you typed in. Also, be careful with that AI bullshit. Yo, this song kind of goes hard. What's that? Down with the clankers! Get him out of here! ChatGPT, fuck off. Palantir, or whatever these military companies that are going to be using AI to guide drones past EW and slam into civilian vehicles, fuck off. Even though we probably do need that shit. Anyways. You gotta watch out for the AI stuff. It kind of is a snake fly or whatever, but this is the... Again, there's 5 million variations of Lou Tabori snake fly, which is a variation of Angus's something, whatever. But this is why you gotta be careful with these AI summaries. Like, I could type in whatever sort of thing with AI, right? Does it give me an AI bullshit? Let's see what it says about the Striper Slider Special. Key designs, target environment, tailored for night fishing across New England beaches, estuaries, and rocky coastlines. Can be true, it can be daytime. Buoyancy, high floating construction lines to stay elevated. Okay, yep, that's not necessarily wrong. Tied securely by professional tires on heavy duty rust resistant. So this is just, again, this is just taking from the description of saltwaterflies.com. You know what I mean? That's all it's doing. And it's mixing, mashing things. This is... The only reference it has is saltwaterflies.com at the moment, but if I typed in something miniature base sizes, it would pull like 55 different Reddit posts, this and that, and it'll give you a kind of generic right answer, but a lot of the times it won't give you the actual right answer. It'll kind of give you like a vague answer that can be right, but also can be wrong. So you got to be careful with these things, okay? It's much more prevalent with harder questions and stuff like that. But I will say, I'll ask Chris. I think the fly is, like you said, a Catherwood variation. And it probably maybe was sold on the website at some point, but it's not now. Something, I don't know. Or he just wanted to use the photo. He tied it himself and he wanted to use it because it looks really sick. That being said, get the AI bullshit out of here, okay? Oh my God. Like, they just, thank God it's not affecting us, but any poor soul that's trying to become a YouTuber nowadays, make fishing videos, this and that, because of all the AI slop that is just infested YouTube to just the umpteenth level. In the shorts, in the videos, if you look at any World War II history videos, almost half, like 75% are all AI now. And you need to look for channels that say no AI in the title that's made with a real person. You know what I mean? And they all are starting to do this no AI thing, like real people, because they're like, it's so flooded. Same thing with science. If you look at science on YouTube, there's so much regurgitated ChatGPT script, science, AI generated bullshit, and half of it's even wrong. You know what I mean? So, But now YouTube has changed it to where if you're trying to get, join the partner program to become monetized like I am, it used to be like 2,000 hours for the entire year you needed or something watch time. Now you need 8,000 hours watched in like 3 months. Or you need like 50 million views on shorts or something. The whole reason they're doing this is because there's so much AI garbage on YouTube that people are able to just continuously pump out trash content that they're trying to make it harder for AI to get monetized in AI videos. But in reality, it doesn't really matter. It's really just affecting normal people who can't keep up with AI generated slop. It won't affect us. We already worked hard. We got monetized and we got into where we are. But if you're like a newer channel trying to start and you're doing all this stuff, it's going to be really tough. So I don't know. Dead Internet Theory, we're all doomed. Arnold Schwarzenegger will show up on a motorcycle, but it's cool. In the second movie, he comes back and he's actually nice. So it just depends whether or not you're Sarah Connor's son and you can actually save the world. But until then, the rest of us were fucked. Okay. That being said, I do want to grab a drink real quick, and we'll keep on tying some flies here real quick because my mouth is getting dry as hell. So I'm gonna hit the hookah lounge real quick. We'll throw in a quick little highlight, and we're gonna be streaming for a while tonight. So we're just getting started. I'm gonna be talking about AI. I'm gonna be talking about aliens. I'm gonna be talking about lizard people, all that stuff. I threw in lizard people for fun. But I think the whole lizard person thing is really cool. I wish there were lizard people, like, living under the ground. That would be really sick. Because then you could fight them with swords and wizard staffs. But, alright, we're going to take a quick little break. Alright. When we get back, we're going to tie some Albie flies and all this stuff. And we're going to be chatting it up as usual. So, thank you so much for everybody hanging out. We're just going to take a quick little break here. Let me throw on the old Albie highlight. I'm going to go grab a drink. We'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, alright? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the valve.
Yeah, get on the valve. Alright, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Is it? Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to your alley. Good job.
That's sick.
Alright. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee yee!
bro. On the Albie bar, too.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep.
Alright, we back. Yeah, the AI cannot tell us how to tie the Nyaka. I think the only person that could tell us how to tie the Nyaka baitfish is the creator of the fly who owns Balua Fly Rod Co. So I think that's really the only way we can actually figure out. But we'll figure it out one day. I remember we used the AI for one thing, or I think the AI. I searched a fly up, and I was looking for like Striper Online posts. That's really how you're going to get some of the best information. Striper Online posts and random forum stuff from like 2006 or something, some crap. You know what I mean? 2009. And I remember I searched something, and it gave me just. Because at least this is my area of expertise, saltwater fly tying for striped bass. It gave me like the completely wrong answer. I was like, I remember that helped solidify, because I was like, oh, this Google AI thing ain't bad. But the more and more you learn about AI data centers and all that bullshit, the more you just want to, and flock cameras and all this crap, you just want to rebel. You know what I mean? All right, let's keep tying. Let's do another version of this simple epoxy bait fish. You know what I mean? Yo, Adam, what's going on, dude? How's it going? Oh, we got some sick tunes tonight. I forgot we had some like sick ass rock songs. Oh, we can also play the we can play some originals too. I gotta work on some music for the channel, for both channels. I'm making a custom Turkish army for Conflict 47, so I like wrote this Turkish sounding riff that I got to work on, but I want to use some of it for my fly time videos as well. I was hoping someone would do some epoxy baitfish. Hell yeah, these are like simple versions. We'll tie an original here later, but we have a new video coming out with a simplified version of the Albie hoe. I'm gonna start calling it the Albie lizard, after the Albie lot lizard, of course. And what do you call it? So I'm trying some like taking Albie flies, traditional Albie flies, and stripping them down to their bare essentials, and you know, to the point to where they still work. So that's kind of the idea here. By taking away that top tie, we essentially have the same exact fly. Oh wait, this is the point where I want to add some. Let's add some flash, and we'll add some color, and then we use the marker. That's right. That's right. Simple is best at times. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid, right? And we got a lot of new fly tires and old, and it's cool to mix it up, because You know, we've covered, God, I mean, I'm sure there's more flies for me to cover, traditional classic striper flies and just more modern ones, but man, I mean, we've really covered a lot of flies on the channel. So at times, last night I sat down, what am I gonna tie? And I looked through the channel, I'm like, dude, we've tied just like, I mean, out of all the big ones, we've tied a lot. There's still flies that we have to cover, you know, like certain Popovic flies and this and that, but I mean, we've covered a lot of the heavy hitters. So I was like, what do we tie, you know? And I'm like, let me try some simplified versions of the classic flies for like maybe beginners and people who, let's say you're in a rush, you don't want to tie a hot glue Albie hoe, you can just tie the Albie lizard instead. So that's kind of, we're gonna try and do some. Put a little flash. Now a little note here, this bucktail is flaring really bad. If you do a light wrap, you can actually get it to work with you a little bit better. I also have that problem with the fresh water fly. What's that? Oh, you mean like what haven't I tied? I gotcha. Well, this is where you should start thinking about doing topics. And this is what I'm going to be doing a lot of. You know, the right, how to use hackle for freshwater fly tying, or various hackles or things. You know, there's so many different things you can do. So if you are struggling for ideas, that's something that there's like an endless amount of things you could talk about, techniques, materials, all that, right? Do a jiggy, what, you want to see a jiggy? I think I have the right hooks to possibly tie a jiggy. Well, we have a jiggy video. I think it was when I actually started really going hard on YouTube. It was one of the videos then. It's a pink and white jiggy. And we caught a striper in it, too. But maybe we can do an Albie jiggy. I don't know if I have the right hook, though. But that I could do a video on a Albie jiggy. There's also the rabbit strip jiggy, which... Oh my god, Mark probably hates me, dude. He sent me a photo, though. He caught some really big fish off Block Island over the summer. I just haven't fished at all. But I have 2 videos of Mark Sadati's that I have to edit, and then I have to go... This is the reason why I haven't done it. I have to go physically to his house, which is like 40 minutes away out east, and I have to go help him upload it on his YouTube. Because I don't think I can email it to him, and I don't think he even necessarily knows. So I have to like... I have to like do all of it for him. So I gotta do it at some point. I've been super busy, but I will... I have to edit Mark Sadati's rabbit strip jiggy video, and then his flash receiver video, which the people want to see. So that's on me for not doing it, but I need to do it. Dude, I have 2 YouTube channels. I'm so freaking busy. Get in a jiggy with a na. Yeah, get jiggy with it. Na. Hey, you gotta watch out. You might get copy striked because my pitch is just on point. So again, like a simplified version of a epoxy minnow, but instead of tying the olive after, we're gonna use a little marker here. Because it can be a little tricky for a beginner fly tyer to take the Flashaboo and wrap it around the shank. So what you can do instead, for instance, if I could find it, let's take a look. Copic marker. And we will just hit the top with some olive. The Copic markers, very good. You can use a Sharpie as well, but the Copic markers are like a art kind of marker. I know people use them with like an airbrush. I don't understand how they do it. They like plug it into an airbrush or something. I don't know what the hell they do with that. I just use it like a marker, and it works really good. Just to get some colors on there. Let me see if I got smaller eyes though, because it's a pretty small fly. And I most definitely have really, really small eyes that'll work for this. That I usually cannot use for other flies, so it's a perfect time to do it. Here we go. This would make a great juvenile sand eel fly, by the way. You're also reducing the overall width and profile of it, So if you are trying to imitate the really, really small bay anchovies, if you don't put that top layer with the bucktail, you're going to have a smaller profile overall. So like there are times that you kind of want to, especially with the smaller hook, for instance, like the size 6, I believe this is, or it might be size 4. Not having that top layer bucktail wrapped on top is actually saving you a lot of room if you're trying to get a smaller profile in general. And we know the albies can be a bitch sometimes, and they're feeding on the surface, rolling on that micro bait. They're so hard to catch. You kind of need a bait that kind of matches, and you just need to get lucky at the same time. That's something we'll cover in the video with albie fishing, is that they do it offshore, like a mile or two offshore. We've seen them do it on the South Shore. We've seen them do it off Orient Point Lighthouse. They'll be out deep in the ocean and rolling. It's really hard to explain, but they're slowly moving and rolling on the surface. Other times they do it super fast. They're moving like, I'm not even joking, it's like they're moving like 20, 30 miles an hour doing it. But they're eating bait that's like this big. I'm not even joking. They're eating bait that's like that big. So like, you really just kind of need to get lucky. Sometimes we've caught them on albiehos, big ones. Sometimes we've caught them on micro baits. But it's like, you got to get in the right spot. You have to cast your fly. And even if you get it right in them, they won't even need it sometimes. It's some of the trickiest fishing is when they do that rolling. You know what I mean? It's really tough. It's some of the most frustrating albie fishing you'll do. You know what I mean? We got to glue it up. But would you consider put dumbbell eyes on those? Yeah, why not? You could put dumbbell eyes. You could put a cone on the front. You know, it might slightly change things, but you could just wrap the... You know, we'll do it next. We'll put dumbbell eyes on one. That would need some weight to get it out there. No, a dumbbell would work perfectly. No. Well, if you're talking about the fly rod, no. The fly has no effect. Well, it does have an effect. I shouldn't say that. But your line is what's getting the fly out there. With a traditional fishing rod setup, you have the weight, right? The weighted hook. So you're like or you're using a hook with a dumbbell weight or whatever, or a dropper weight with bait. Your fly line's getting it out there. Now your fly does affect how it casts, obviously, with the wind resistance and how much weight's on there. But really the big deal is like whether your fly rod and line is set up properly. So a lot of times you really don't want a fly that has a ton of weight. Sometimes having dumbbell eyes on a fly can actually hurt your cast. But that being said, you know, you just make sure you use dumbbell eyes that aren't too big. You know what I mean? It needs to be relative to the size of the fly you're using. So... Now, if I was really smart, I would take my live streams and make videos out of them. But some nights we're also just rambling about bullshit, so that's fine. This weekend, I swear, I mean, I'm obviously editing that Albie lizard video or whatever, but I swear I'm gonna try and start working on the topic videos and stuff, so I've been working like crazy on YouTube videos, and it's kind of like, normally that would be like, oh man, I don't want to do another video, but I'm like in YouTube mode right now, so I got to start working on some like big videos, because you need the right energy for that, you know? Alright, so we're spreading our resin around. How's the music level? Let me see. Turn it down slightly. The stunt minnow is tied to roll on its side, so the albie see the lateral line attacking from below. Not from AI. Okay, good. Credible source. Do you have a reference for the stunt minnow for me to tie a fly in a video that's not AI? That would be great, Calvin. I like you put not AI. Is anyone here into war history, World War II? You know, there's like that meme of like the classic American dude who's like 30, 40 years old and gets super heavy into World War II history. I've been like that my whole life. That was my favorite class in college. But I got recommendations. If you guys want really good history YouTube channels, not with AI, but with real people that are very high quality, that are made from like smaller group, you know, teams, not like some mega YouTube channel, then you let me know. I got the good shit for you. All right, that's what I listen to when I'm working on flies. You're big into World War II? Alright. Once we're done with it, I'll show you a couple channels I really like. There's also a channel I did not really know that I would love, and it's a professor talking about the PLA, the Chinese Communist People Liberation Army, and how wild the PLA was. Really interesting stuff. You should make videos out of the lives. I used to watch a guy tie flies on Twitch that did funny videos. Miss those days. Are you talking about me? What do you call it? Yeah, but that's the thing. I never had a good enough quality stream. Like right now we're in 720, but now that we have fiber, and if I can bump it up to 6,000, 8,000 bit rate, and then I can, then the stream will be a high enough quality to where I think it's worth actually editing. So, yeah, you must not be talking about me, obviously. You're probably talking about, God, what was that one dude's name? Big L? Or something? That dude was sick. He disappeared. I think his mom had issues or something. Australia's fishing, of course. I'm still trying to learn how to use my live feed, let alone editing and creating. You guys are amazing. If you ever want help, travelers, do let me know. What you should be doing, you should take your phone, turn it sideways. Are you using your phone to live stream? You should be using your phone, turn it sideways, get the lighting right, film yourself tying a fly, upload it. And you can edit it I'll show you what program on your computer, if you have a computer, to use for free. So if you ever you let me know. Hit me up on Discord. I'll run you through it. It's not that hard, you know. But you tie really sick flies, and you should be filming, like, you know, you should be filming some fishing too and stuff like that, and including that in your fly tying videos. Like, I bet you people will love watching that because you're in the freaking Philippines. You know what I mean? There was a guy that made rods super big a-hole. Wolfram, Shout out to Wolfram Custom Rods, who always would bring up the fact that one of my mods made this weird command about me smelling women's hair in a bathroom or something, which was obviously, let me just reiterate, completely false. But my mods were like making all these commands about me doing crazy shit. And then every time we'd get a big raid, Wolfram would spam the command. I'm like, Wolfram, are you trying to defame me? You son of a bitch. I pulled out an old book, Secrets of Striped Bass Fishing by Roscoe. Yeah, there you go. Is that you? Oh, wait. That is you. You son of a bitch. Why isn't your name on YouTube Wolfram Custom Rods, man? You should be making YouTube videos as well. I just looked at your profile pic. That is definitely you holding 2 walleye. Are you making, like, fishing videos on YouTube? What's going on? What have you been up to, dude? That son of a bitch. Once I saw the probation, I knew. Hope everything's going good. What? Look, you know, that's just... Look, things are a little bit more civil at times here on YouTube. Twitch can get a little wild, you know? We've streamed on Twitch for many years. A little bit of a rowdy bunch at times. Gibbs Striper Fly and the Brooks Honey Blonde. Oh, nice. That's awesome, Glenn. Or, I'm awesome, Jim. I'm sorry. I thought for a second I was thinking of someone. Yeah, dude, the Gibbs. We've covered the Gibbs, but there's some really cool old flies that I would love to cover. Old school stuff. Just life. Yeah, well, you know, we've been kicking on, you know. No Twitch partner, no fancy dancy, yada, yada, yada. But YouTube's been good. Multi-streaming's been nice. I was on the verge of stopping streaming at one point because Twitch is kind of blah. But YouTube's been great. And I still love Twitch. But there's just no growth for a fly tire on this platform. Unless you're out fishing on a boat for, like, sharks or something like I used to, you know? But YouTube's been great, and also I have my tabletop channel, Mike Rolls Dice, so I'm just a busy making shitty videos as usual. It's good to see you, dude. I hope everything's been well. You still building rods or what? I never watch Twitch anymore, so I have no idea what's going on with Twitch. all I do on Twitch is check my own stream to make sure it's okay. And then I use my Twitch Prime sub so Jeff Bezos doesn't send Katy Perry to the moon again. I use my Twitch Prime sub on guys I watch on YouTube. Suck it, Bezos. Speaking of which, you guys are watching on YouTube. You guys got Amazon Prime. You can create a free Twitch account, link your Amazon Prime to it because Amazon owns Twitch, and then you can support a live streamer that multi-streams. Just letting you know, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because the AI overlords of Amazon have, I'm sure most of us have Prime. I try not to buy too much stuff on Amazon anymore, but honestly, it's, oh my god, it's so convenient and good. But I still go to the local hardware store to buy my spray paint and glues. I still go here and there, the local Bev, to spend money there instead of this and that. I still try to support as many local businesses as I can, which I shouldn't be because I'm broke as hell. I should just be buying the cheap Chinese stuff on Amazon, but I told you guys I'm a red-blooded American. Okay? I hate communists, and I like supporting my local business. Okay? But I bet you I can get that. I bet you I can get that spray paint for like $3 cheaper on Amazon. Okay. All right. Let's tie a little tan on top of here. Oh, you want a dumbbell eyes? Yeah, let me throw some dumbbell eyes. I guess I could throw it in the front, or we could just tie another one. Whoa!
_Eli Ross.
_, thank you, appreciate it. Rev coming in. By the way, Rev, he's kind of a big deal in the tabletop wargaming world of Conflict 47. Okay? Especially, you're going to essentially be known as one of the top Japanese players in the world after our Invasion American series, okay? Now, what I need to know is, did you get the goddamn package? Whoa! What do we got?
Yo, Mike and chat. Albies are here.
What the hell is that? Where was that? I don't even see what channel or platform that was on. What was that? Who was that? It was a ghost. I don't know where that came from. Am I streaming on TikTok and I don't know it? Who the hell said that? Speak! Speak right now! Thank you, whoever that was. I don't know. It didn't pop up anywhere in my feed on any of my channels, so I don't know who did the Albie thing. Twitch? Oh, was it Jin? Why is Twitch sucking balls? Ah, Jin, thank you, dude. 89 months. Sheesh. Round of applause. I thought it was a ghost. Dude, thank you. Albies are here. What, you got Albies in Massachusetts or what? You got them? I haven't heard anything yet, but I bet you there's probably a couple little Spanish mackerel kicking around. I think it's going to be in the next week or so. Estimated delivery Monday. Dude, what the hell is this? I got fucking 20 sprues of apocalypse chicks and dudes in my downstairs. They haven't... How did I order that and get that shipped quicker than you got yours? That's ridiculous. That's alright. That's fine. That means I'm coming like Tuesday to pick up the book or something. You're gonna have to stay up late Monday night and read that thing, okay? Nah, it's alright. I am excited for it, though. But I did get all those sprues. You're going to have fucking, like, 7 sprues of each of the male and female. I'm going to give you the weapon accessories. So, you got a whole bunch of stuff, so good luck. B.O. Jin, what's going on? I hope you're doing well, dude. Thank you again, man. Appreciate it. I just build for myself and friends. Also don't follow Twitch anymore. Nice. But you're still building rods. Good. I'm glad. Are you still doing the, what do you call it? Fire stuff? Alright. Can we put dumbbell eyes here? I think we're gonna maybe need to tie another one. I didn't leave myself enough room, but... Yeah, I bet you we can fit one in. Let me go with a smaller dumbbell eye. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tie it on top. because it's smaller as well. You don't have to tie it on the bottom and necessarily have it flip it over. We could tie it on... Actually, we could tie it on the bottom. Here we go. I got some small ones. Fire is life. Alright, let's take these tiny lead ones here. We'll use these. Actually, no, let's use these tiny little orange ones, because they're literally the same size and the orange looks way cooler. For sure. But thank you, Rev, and thank you, Jin. Appreciate that. Yeah, we just put out the new video. I think it's doing pretty good. But I made a video the other night in literally 30 minutes real quick of just talking about the article. That video did really good. And then I just made a pretty long video talking about all the army rules and changes. And, what do you call it? So, pretty quick. It took me like a couple hours, but I banged it out. I woke up, recorded it, edited it, and yeah. So, I think I'm going to start doing those videos discussing like K47 new releases and stuff. I know Mordian does it, but Mordian has his streams, and it's essentially he posts videos of his streams, and I'm going to do like the edited versions. Almost like Auspex Tactical, but not anywhere near as good. But I think I'm going to start doing that, covering K47 stuff. Oh, shit. My precious fiber modem. I just kicked it over. Alright. Let's see if we can, you know, we'll try. If not, we're just going to have to tie another one. Oh, you know what? I think it'll work. Just enough room. And I think the fly is small enough, the dumbbell eyes are small enough, and the way we're going to be fishing it, I don't think it's actually going to turn over. What I've learned, this would be a great video, is taking dumbbell eyes and moving them around the hook shank. There's an ideal area where you tie the dumbbell eyes that they're more likely to flip it over. Because just the way that, I'm sure there's some physics involved in how the connection point of your leader is, the weight of the material of the fly, but it seems like when you have your dumbbell eyes super far forward like this, I really feel like it's much harder for the fly to actually turn over. So, I mean, even if it did, it'd be totally fine, but the other option is tie them underneath, like Mark Sadati used to do with that one particular fly. I forgot what it's called, or like the flash receiver version that he was doing. So, there is that, but you can also just do it like this. Oh, what am I doing? We gotta wrap our body braid. But you can just tie it on top like this, and I bet you, I'm not going to guarantee it 100%, but I'll say like 80%. I guarantee you that 80% at least, that it's going to ride hook point down here. Because it really doesn't have enough weight in the right area to actually flip the hook point over. It's a pretty small dumbbell eye for a size, I'm going to say 1-odd Mustad big game hook, it looks like. Which is fairly heavy itself. To keel a fly, you know? But I kind of want to tie one with bead chain where the eyes are underneath. Which is an interesting thing you can do. Dude, these are songs we used to listen to like 8 years ago. I haven't listened to some of these Epidemic soundtracks in so long. It's crazy. These are some old ass songs. Definitely gonna wrap the eyes like this with the mono thread. Make sure it's locked down. Oh, we gotta wrap a couple times before we actually whip finish here. It's like a trap trap song for our fly tying. Yeah, I didn't leave myself much room, but it'll work, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, I do not have any tan color, so I'm going to leave it. But what I will do is just do like a little orange gill thing here. Like I said, I'm just tying a bunch of these just to throw them in the box for Albie fishing this year, and I kind of want to try out some of the simpler versions. Just experiment, you know? Because I'm so convinced that you just throw the fly in the right place. I mean, it's... That white version that we tied with the eyes is so close to an actual epoxy minnow that, like... it's going to come down to more whether I think they're going to eat the white or the pink one, and that's more me. That's not the Albies. Because every boat's fishing with a different color, you know? So, again, I probably would have moved this slightly further back so I could actually wrap my thread properly for my thread head. But you can throw a dumbbell eye in here. And I'm going to epoxy it, and then I could just hit it with a little hot thing if I need to clear the hook eye. Worst case, you know what I mean? We'll hit it with the light. I want to make sure the resin does kind of focus more bottom-wise. This will help counterbalance the eye as well. Even this could be like a little shrimp fly, dude. It's so, like, basic and simple, but again, like, people fish with flies like this. You'll meet these old guys that fish on the rocks, and they're like, yep, same fly I've been fishing since 1970, you know? And it's like a little piece of bucktail, like a blue piece of flash, and something tied on there. And this guy's catching, like, every fish on the inlet. You're like, what the hell is this guy doing? It's not really the fly. It's the fact that he's, like, fishing it right. You know what I mean? He's, like, letting it sink a little bit before he strips it. Whatever the small change or difference is, you know? But, again, the simple ones do pretty good. I mean, even if that does flip over, it's not the worst thing in the world, eh? Looks like a salmon fly, doesn't it? Or something? It looks like a fry with those big orange eyes. So you can tie them with dumbbell eyes. You may want to put it on the bottom. But depends on the size. I bet you that won't flip over. Even if it does flip over, it's not the biggest deal. It'll work just fine. Okay. Tie some more variations. Well, let's take a break here. Let's hang out a sec. So what's everyone up to? Make sure you guys post any flies in the Discord. We'll take a look at some point. Like I said, we got more... We got Albie lizards on the way. Which, maybe we tie some of those. We could actually tie some of those. I think we'll tie one or two more of these simple... Maybe we'll just tie some variations of this simplified epoxy fly. And then we can switch over to the lizards. I don't want to spoil it, but, you know. Look, I believe most of you folks are probably competent enough fly tiers to understand how that fly is tied. By just looking at it. Maybe that's a cool video idea. I think that comes with just experience, but that would be a fun thing, is you guys post flies, okay, photos. I have to try and say what the material is that the fly is tied with, and see how close I get for each fly. Because there's a lot of flies I don't necessarily know the names, this and that exactly. People send me stuff and I'll be like, And I also need to figure out how it's actually tied. Techniques. You could do materials or you could do techniques. You could do both. That could be an interesting sort of thing. You know what I mean? You guys kind of like picking flies and being like, it's like a challenge whether or not I can actually determine if it's tied with a particular material and a certain technique. You know what I mean? That could be interesting. Also, maybe just a video on, like, how to... Again, I don't think that's even worth it, but it's more so just comes from experience. I was trying to say maybe how you can tell what a fly... Just by looking at a fly, you should be able to tell as close as you can what sort of materials it's made with and what the techniques are. But again, that comes with just more so experience from doing it over time, you know what I mean? But Might be something there. I don't know. It's probably not worth the time. There's probably so many millions of other topics that I should be discussing. But that is something that I have to deal with a lot, is with tying flies commercially. Is someone will send me a vague photo of a fly, and I have to replicate it as best as I can without seeing it in 3D form, just a 2D photo. A lot of times one single shot and not multiple angles and profile pics. And try and tie like 100, 200 flies or 30, 40 flies, whatever it may be, as best as I can to my ability to where it's going to swim and perform correctly. And I may have never even tied the pattern before. But I have enough experience. I should be able to like understand how much material I can put on the hook, how I need to shape it, how I need to tie it. But that is something that you with time and experience get is and it's really good to understand too, just like as a fly tie, or somebody hands you a fly on the rocks, or you just look at their fly and you catch a glimpse of it, you can kind of get an idea how it's tied, and you can go back and tie one yourself. So but that is a interesting thing to think about when it comes to fly tying and stuff, being able to like identify the fly by just looking at and seeing what sort of materials and the techniques and all that, you know what I mean? But again, I think that does come with more so experience and time, but you get it over time, you know what I mean? Let me take a look real quick. Let me see something. We do have some flies to look at, but we'll wait a little bit. I'll give you guys a little bit of time as well, in case you want to post something. All right. Let's keep on tying. Shall we? All right. I guess we could tie a cone head version. The cones aren't necessarily the right size. Or, let's do this. I got an idea. This will be interesting. Oh, I just realized I have a ton of Bill's body braid, or easy body. I should do some more easy body fly videos. Again, if there's any flies you guys want to specifically see, let me know, because I have all this stuff written down. I look through the list. I'm like, let's go with this one. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. I was gonna use a cone. The cones I have are a little too big for what I have planned. A little heavy. You totally could use one. There were folks watching on Twitch, but it's not like we get a crazy amount of people watching. We generally have a little bit more watching on YouTube, but I think everyone's lurking tonight. Everyone's chilling out. You know what I mean? Maybe tying or doing something. All right. I guess we're gonna keep using white, because white for the base and the belly you can't really go wrong with that, can you? Yeah, I gotta edit the new fly tying video, so I'm gonna be doing that tonight after the stream. And it's 3 flies in 1. And then really this weekend, I mean, look, tomorrow I'm streaming Mike Rolls Dice. I have to work on the Turnip 28 battle report for that channel. And then Sunday we're filming a conflict game. But I'm probably going to try and sit down, maybe Sunday afternoon, Saturday at some point, and I'm going to record some audio, start working on maybe how to fish for false albacore. Because I think if I'm going to do that, I really should do that. And then I could do a striped bass, or I could do a beach fishing video. Because beach fishing is going to be relevant up and through November. But plan to chase Albie's a week from Sunday. Nice. Yeah, again, I haven't heard anything personally. Not that I'm staying super up to date on it, but hopefully they show up, and I'm going to try and hitch a ride and see if I can hop on somebody's boat. You know what I mean? Being that I'm still boatless. I'm a boatless fool. Boatless fool. Nothing to my name. Not even a working boat. Shame. All right. I just got to save up like 15, 16 grand and buy a Yamaha, you know? Easy. Alright. My idea is we actually will do the flash for the top. But, or we will do material on top this time. But, we're going to use flash. So that's what we're going to do. Because I've never actually done that, where I've used flash for the top collar of a epoxy baitfish. Again, I've tied so many flies. I've tied so many thousands of surf candies and stuff. I can't make another surf candy video. So I gotta do something different, you know? This is where I gotta start thinking, like, how can I take this fly that I've tied legitimately thousands of times already, and how can I mix it up, you know? So that's the thought I had. Let's replace the top bucktail section with a certain type of flash. I don't know, we'll see how it works. But you have your pride. Yeah, true. Well, somewhat. We don't want to go too crazy now. We don't want to go too crazy. A little bit of pride. What's left? Okay. The Albie bean, yeah. Hey, maybe that's what we'll call it. I'll probably make a video on this to strip down Mickelson. Okay, what sort of flash should we use? I just use crystal flash. I could use more crystal flash in a color. But I'm also thinking, do I have any just wacky... Angel hair is not going to work because it's too fluffy. You know what I mean? But maybe do I have... I'm just looking. Do I have any cool flash I can use? It's probably going to be a crystal flash or a Flashaboo. It's kind of your bog standard classic run-of-the-mill. Oh, I do have microlateral line. Okay, that's what we're using. Because that's way too cool. I could use crystal flash. I probably should. It's honestly probably the best. Because I also have different colors, but who cares? I want to use some cool... I want to try something different. And I'm going to use this medium thickness variation because it's kind of like Goldilocks. Not too big, not too small sort of thing, you know what I mean? That being said, I need... Oh my god, I need to order a lateral scale. The full-size version. I have like literally 3 pieces left. Since when Twitch notifications don't work anymore, you need to send me a text when you go live. I put it in the Discord, but you probably have that shut off so you don't get those stupid notifications as well. But you can look around 6:30, 7, or maybe a little early. I'll be around then, but yeah. I don't know. I have half those notification things turned on for other stuff as well, and I never get it anyway, so I don't know half the time how that stuff works. Or if it even does work. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna try something a little different. Maybe we'll mix some flash from other flashes too. We could do that. I feel like I'm exploring a lost planet with this music right now. It's like super cinematic. Must have been when I was editing Albie video, the Albie highlight, because I was like downloading all these or favoriting all these like cinematic songs to make. I bet you that's what it is. I betcha. Bet you bottom dollar. Okay. We'll take some of this lateral scale here and tie this on like so. And then we're going to have to wrap it. But that's not really enough to actually give us a nice body. So let's go ahead and let's take some colored crystal flash. And at the same time, I can actually put some of this crap away. Keep everything nice and organized as best as I can. And I do have some actually... Ooh, yeah, I got some root beer. So blue would work, 100% blue or something, but I'm gonna try the root beer out. Bonefish tan. This looks more like root beer. It's probably, could be bonefish tan, I guess. Give us some nice color on top. Again, we're just trying something different. I don't know if necessarily this is exactly how you want to tie your simplified Mickelsons, but or the Albie bean. I'm stealing that, alright? We're calling it the Albie bean. Alright? I'll give you credit. Oh, this looks sick. And it's keeping a pretty low profile for like a nice... This is like a Sandiel Mickelson, dude. You replace the top with some like... copper crystal flash. You can get it nice and skinny. This actually looks really cool. I think I would maybe just want to use like all copper. But I mean, the lateral scale does look really nice on there. That looks nice. Shit, I might do a video on this. Mickelson's flash bait fish. Just used a ton of the bonefish tan on top. That's actually really nice. Tied in, like, if you tied this on a size 4, it would be a killer bay anchovy fly. For like a little teeny baby bay anchovy. That'd be sick. It also actually makes a really nice Sandio fly if we put the eyes back a little bit, and that's what I'm gonna do. Normally when I tie Albie flies, I'll put the eyes super far forward because anchovies, the eyes are really far forward, but I'll kind of keep it a little bit more regular spaced just to kind of work for anything. This would make a sick striper fly though. Alright, I gotta get out and do some fishing, dude. There's gotta be something kicking around. I went to visit Mom in North Carolina 2 weeks ago and fished the Neuse River with Gary Dubell. Conditions were perfect and lots of bait, but no fish. What was it? Striper? Was it striper fishing or like freshwater striper fishing, or were you fishing? It was a river, but with bait. Interesting. Or were you going for like redfish or something? I'm not familiar with the area. I know that in North Carolina, there's freshwater striper fishing in rivers and lakes and stuff. Or trout as well. There's good trout fishing and stuff. The Chapachovy. Ooh. Oh, Capachovy. The Capachovy. Hey, yo. You got one of those Capachovies over there? I like it. That's what we're calling it. Aren't you Australian too? Are you from Brooklyn or what? The Capachovy. Hey, yo, whoa, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, yo, whoa, whoa. The Capachovy. Bunka. Yeah, you're Australian, right? What did I say? No, I said Australian, right? What did I say? Austrian or something? New Zealand or something? I thought I asked if you were Australian. Oh, yeah. Oh, I asked if you were from Brooklyn. Yeah. I know. Look, I know an Aussie when I see one, okay? We've had a lot of Aussies in the chat over the years. I got a lot of Aussies in Mike Rolls Dice and New Zealanders as well. I always say it, all right? You take an Australian dude and you take a hardworking American dude and you give them a 12-pack of beer and they're probably going to have the best time of their lives, okay? We're pretty much like cousins. Australians know how to have a good time. We've learned over the years watching Shook One. Alright. And you guys get to drive your cool Japanese right-hand drive cars. Bullshit. We don't get that. We kind of do now with 25-year-old rule. You're allowed to import Cars that never pass the safety standards or whatever. That bullshit. Or the emissions. But I'm too broke to be driving Sylvias and Skylines, unfortunately, as much as I would have hoped 10 years ago. But only 12. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You guys, I'm a little. I don't drink a ton, so I have a couple drinks when I stream and stuff on a Friday night, but I'm more of the hookah lounge sort of guy myself. On the way home, we floated the north branch of the Shenandoah and caught a bunch of smallmouth, fall fish, and bluegills. Oh, okay. So, but what were you targeting specifically? Was it stripers? That's what I was wondering. The Capochovy, I like it. I think we're gonna, we might throw some lateral scale in there as well, but I think we'll go, the top layer is gonna be heavy on that copper crystal flash. That looks nice though. This would make a nice sand eel fly. Definitely would. That's nice. That is nice. Okay. Well, these flies are taking way too little time to tie, and it's only freaking an hour and 30 minutes we've been streaming. I've tied 4 flies? Bullshit. Oh. Old Drum, aka Bull Reds, this time of year is Gary's mainstay. Ah, are you fishing for reds and sea trout? Stripers and tarpon are on the noose. Okay, so it's like a brackish river or a salt river, I guess. Oh, Jim knows all about that guide, I guess, huh? So were you guys fishing in a skiff? Flat skiff or something? Excuse me. Let's take a look at the Discord. If you do have photos, throw them up there. We'll take a look later. But I know we got Calvin's stuff that he posted. I forgot if this was last week or earlier this week. But this is essentially what we're tying right now, so you can see the difference. We're tying this right here. And he's tying the top layer, which is the classic Mickelson, right? Gotta catch a flight now. Glad I could pop in. Hey, dude, fly safe, all right? Appreciate you hanging out, Barfy. So, what do you call it? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Stay safe. What do you call it? So we're just tying like a simplified version. But again, these flies are very simple in themselves. You know what I mean? And they look fantastic in the original way with the flashaboo wrapped over the bucktail, obviously, like we did with the last fly and the flash top, obviously. Because they just look good, you know? This is nice, though. This is kind of like what we did. You know, this is like a stripped down Albie hoe, but without feathers. Is this hot glue, though? It kind of looks like hot glue as well. And maybe this is hot glued? I can't tell. Or is this UV? Calvin could tell us. This is actually kind of cool, though. This is exactly kind of what we're doing, like a simple Albie fly. You know? In the widest river in the U.S., it's the widest river in the U.S. as it flows into the Palamico Sound. Really? Oh, it's the widest river. I would have thought maybe like... I know the Mississippi is one of the biggest rivers, right? I would have thought, oh, interesting. I did not know the widest river is in North Carolina. It's a saltwater river. Or it's a river that connects to the bay like that. Brackish. Well, obviously it would be brackish, right? It's UV. Okay, gotcha. And then a ton of Albie hose. Now, these hot glue, these look like hot glue. You could tell because the way that they... Right there, right? Could be UV, but it looks like hot glue. Yeah, it's too whitish looking. Because they don't sell any more damn clear hot glue. They call it clear, but it's not. The old Ace hardware store epoxy stick, or the hot glue sticks. I have one left. I'm keeping one for the rest of my life. It's perfectly clear, and it would dry perfectly clear. Getting hot glue sticks that are actually clear and dry crystal clear, it's impossible nowadays. I don't know what the fuck they did. to ruin hot glue sticks, but it's like the Sure Bond or whatever. It works, but it's got this little smoky tinge. The old Ace Hardware store skinny ones were absolutely crystal clear. It was so good. I don't know. I can't find them. If anyone knows where you can get crystal clear hot glue sticks in the small hobby size, let me know, because I cannot find them for the life of me. You thought it was yours? What's that? The hot glue thing? Nah, it's just impossible. The Sure Bonds ain't bad. They work fine. The main thing is you want to find the highest temperature glue you can, so it doesn't melt and it's more durable. So a lot of the Sure Bond stuff is dual temp or like low temp. You want to get the high temp. It's just really hard to find good hot glue nowadays. It sucks, you know what I mean? But these look fantastic. And it still works with the other hot glue. It's just annoying having like the ones that were crystal clear before. Now I can't find them for the life of me, you know? These look great though. Orange, I love the orange. Pink and white's one of my favorite. Tan and white, very good. Root beer color, great. That works really well. This is like a peach. We got chartreuse, that works fantastic. And the silvers and the pearls, which are your classics. I mean, these look great, dude. I gotta tie hundreds of these and give them to some of the shops here soon. But very nice, looking great, Calvin. And then Hayes, he tried tying a stickleback goby imitation for the coast. He's located in Denmark, actually, so he's fishing for like sea trout and things. Just added a speed stripe in the green to make it go faster. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, it's interesting. So like it's like some sort of pheasant feathers that he cut and glued. I like it. Very cool. I will say that is someplace I would love to go fish. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and go fish for sea trout one day. It's probably so freaking cool. That's awesome. All right, very nice. Oh, okay. Oh boy. God, we got to stream a little bit more. It's been a while. I'm exhausted. I was working on videos today. I woke up, I was working on all sorts of stuff. All right, we are going to take a quick break. I'm going to go grab another drink real quick. And let's tie some of the Albie lizards when I get back. So we'll be using feathers, a staz, but none of the hot glue and all that. So that's what we'll do next, I think. And crank out some more flies. So that being said, we're going to take a quick little break here. I could play the shorter away video. It's very short, so I have to run at the speed of sound to do all this. I might just play the Albie video again. If you guys don't mind, it's a classic, and it gives me a little bit more time. So, so we're gonna play that. I'm gonna come back, and then we'll tie for another hour or so. We'll tie probably like 3 or 4. I mean, because these flies are really simple to tie. You know what I mean? We'll tie some variations of the new fly that we're going to be coming out with soon, and then what do you call it? We'll wrap it up. So Wally World has some clear ones. I'll have to take a look. Ad Tech Crystal Clear. Okay. There's a lot of them that claim they're crystal clear, but they are somewhat smoky when you use them. And the other thing is they have to be high temperature. Because if they're not high temp, then they're not as durable. If you use low temp hot glue, it's not as good for fly tying. So they got to be high temp, and they need to be the right size, the smaller size hot glue sticks, not the jumbo ones that they use for construction and things like that. So, but I'll take a look. Ad Tech Crystal Clear. Okay. I didn't think about Walmart and all that, but problem is with Walmart online, it's like almost like Amazon where people sell stuff on there and this and that. So if I could just find Ad Tech Crystal Clear hot glue sticks or something, then maybe that would work. But I'll take a look, Jin. Appreciate it, brother. All right, chat. We'll be back in just a moment. Albie highlighted up. Look, if you've been sitting down for the past 2 hours, stretch your legs, go grab a drink, get some pretzels, whatever, some chips, and we're going to be back here in just a second tying some more Albie flies. Appreciate you, folks. To the Albie video. Away! dude. Yeah, dude. Stay tight, alright? Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Aiden. Knuckle buster. Are you good? Do you need me to do anything?
Yeah, I might need a ride. Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna turn now.
I'm gonna try and get on the bow.
Yeah, get on the bow. Alright, you're doing good. Keep doing your thing. I'm gonna move us away.
Is that a little one?
No, that's a nice one.
Oh, let's go!
Come here, hold next to Albie. Good job.
That's sick.
Alright. Nice.
Let's go! Woo! Albie slap!
Good job, dude.
Yee!
Looking down the barrel of a 12 gauge little tuny, bro. On the Albie door, too.
Oh my god, dude! What the fuck? Woohoo! Oh my god. Yep. Oh my god!
You gotta turn the boat so I can cast. Oh my god, dude! Can we just Can we talk about how fucking cool that slow-mo footage of Jeff sitting there with the Albies blitzing right in front of him is? I'll say it again. We've played that video since 2021, I think it is, on the channel. I will never get old of it. Will never get old. I will never get tired of seeing those Albies blitzing right next to the boat right in front of them. That is probably one of the coolest pieces of like Albie footage I've ever seen. Just the slow-mo, and they're just whoosh, 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 slashing right in front of them. Holy shit, that just got me amped up. I was watching that while grabbing a drink. Oh my god, dude. That makes me want to go Albie fishing right now. I gotta get my boat going. That's why I'm making all these freaking YouTube videos and working so hard. I want to one day hopefully fix this damn thing, because as much as I love the fly tying, I still do it every chance I can. You only make so much money doing that, you know? Alright. Let's keep tying, shall we? God, that got me hyped up, dude. Holy shit. Raised my blood pressure watching those Albies. Reminds me of running around on the rocks like an asshole. Hurt my back. Almost dying to waves, like trying to climb down and grab an Albie before the waves come, so I can land the thing and let it go without dying or getting sucked into the rocks. Alright. We are going to tie some of the Albie lizards. Some simple versions. Also, I need to eat some damn dinner. I've yet to eat anything because I had to get that video done. So we're gonna tie for a bit longer, but boy, there's a burger waiting for me downstairs with my name on it. I was tempted. I had to stop myself. Alright, I have this nice hackle. I don't want to waste it. Let's use some of our junk hackle, because the Albies generally do not care. And this fly is for me, not for other people, so. We'll just take some white hackle here. That should work, you know? I mean, we have some other colors I can use as well. I just throw a bunch of random hackle in here. So it's like my random hackle junk box, I guess we'll call it. And I just keep it all for myself, because as much as I want to just throw all this crap away, I just can't help myself. I'm like, I can't throw away a couple pieces of good grizzly hackle. You know, it's just too much. Alright. So we're essentially going to tie a stripped down version of an Albie hoe without the hot glue. This is going to be the new video. We're tying 3 variations. We're going to tie some random colors and stuff here. That one's a little, I don't know about that piece. That looks better. But it's quite simple. Let me zoom out a little bit so it doesn't focus on my hands too much. But yeah, so we got to edit this. I'm going to work on this tonight. It's like a 3 fly in 1 video sort of deal. At some point, I would like to start doing compilations, like taking the videos that I already have made and then like making like an hour-long video of like all the different flies in one shot, so you can just sit down and watch them. But I think that's something I'm going to do in the future. I think I still want to build a nice collection of stuff, and then I can start, because it's almost like reusing stuff. I don't want to necessarily reuse content, but I think that is still a cool thing people would enjoy. Is like, I guess it depends. I have to do a poll. But like, what if I took multiple, like a surf candy, if I took all of my surf candy videos, the various variations, and put them into one giant video? Would people like that? That's what I'm curious. You know what I mean? That way you can kind of watch one video and just see all the variations at once. Alright. Let's go with a little flash. Normally I'd do the flash kind of on top. It's a little tricky when you're not using the hot glue at times. I kind of like doing the flash at this point here with this version of the fly. I'll take a little crystal flash, fold it in half. But yeah, that new video is probably coming out Sunday. Sunday at like 12 or something. So I should be able to get it done from tonight and tomorrow. Edit the video. It's a little bit longer because there's 3 flies in one, like I said. And then do the voiceover and all that. And then Sunday I have to film a game with Rev, so we're going to be quite busy, but should be able to get her done. No problem. Now, what if we use some, like, grizzly hackle? That's a little too thick for this small hook, so, or this size hook. Let's use some white hackle. And again, these are kind of junky feathers, so normally you'd be using nicer feathers, but I can work with these. They will get the job done one way or another. And we're going to be using something to help make sure that it doesn't foul or anything, which is a big deal here. Because normally you'd be using the hot glue, and the hot glue would stop the material from fouling because you're creating this stiff spine. But we're going to use some liquid fusion instead, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite glues in general. Now, we do need some Estaz, though. Oh, dude, my back's getting a little jacked up. Oh, let me stop and stretch a little bit. Okay. What's everyone up to? You guys tying tonight? Make sure you post your stuff in the Discords. We'll take a look. We'll take a look here when we're done. They put this new modem. It's right by my feet. I keep kicking it. Should probably move it. We don't need these bucktails for this fly, so we can put that away. And we need some Estaz. Let's grab a bag of that. And we'll grab the liquid fusion as well. Oh my god, I didn't realize that would come out so easily, so let's clean some of that up. I'm used to UV resin where you have to wait a minute for the resin to get out there. I wonder if we can watch this. There you go. We pretty much didn't waste any. We just suck it back in the bottle. Yeah, this is not UV resin. It does flow a little bit quicker, even though it is a pretty high viscosity too. But as you can see, it didn't really have any issues flowing out of the bottle. Now, this is pretty important, this step, because this, if you don't do this, the fly is going to foul wildly. Because especially the way the hackles are turned outwards. Now, that's an important thing I didn't talk about. The hackles turned outwards. So these feathers are, instead of laying against each other, they're flipped backwards away from each other. So they're going to be like fluttering in the water as you're stripping it. It's a really big part to the this fly in general. At least I believe it is. And we got some different colors here. Let me try. Oh, this is Grande Estaz, isn't it? Yeah, let me not use that. It's way too big. Let's see, what colors do we got here? Yeah, let's use some orange. Let me try an orange one. I tied them in pink, tan, and pearl for the video. So let's try some different colors. Yeah, these are all going in my fly box, and also for the giveaway winners for next for later this month. Which I still got to ship some stuff out. If you've been waiting, I apologize. I've not been able to go to the post office yet, but I'm probably going this weekend or early next week. Been in the goddamn YouTube editing laboratory non-stop for the past like week or two. Trying to stay on top of everything between the two channels. Something you can do as well, if you're worried about this, you can kind of take it and spread it out a little bit, so you get a little bit of a larger profile on the tail section. Damn, my voice is going out. Been yapping too much. We'll throw some eyes on here. And then we can throw some UV resin. Just to make it easier, I'm going to go ahead and kind of trim some of this, just so it's out of the way of the resin. When we go ahead and glue it, you know. So like you can see some of the, oops, I chopped my eye a little bit. The Albies probably don't care. That way we can kind of now work with it a little bit easier when we're trying to glue the head. Of course, I just got crystal Staz bits everywhere, but I'm gonna have to vacuum after the stream anyways, as usual. I try to vacuum every day after a heavy fly tying sesh, because otherwise my room is just covered in fly tying material when I'm doing commercial tying and all that. So, go ahead and take a little medium resin. Try and pull the Staz back so I don't get too much on there, because this stuff gets really pokey and sharp when it gets resin on it. And we hit it with the light. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, if you guys got any flies, post them in the Discord. Yada, yada, yada. We're going to take a look at the end of the stream, but I think everyone's just chilling. Like a little bit of a quiet night. We're just tying some Albie flies. Has anyone got any plans for fishing over the weekend or what? I got to get off my ass, dude. I got to do some fishing. I'm going to try next week. I might, I think my green key and all that's good to go, because a lot of the places we fish out here is like county stuff. I think I have all the permits and everything or whatever for me to drive and go park at this one spot to try an Albie fish. I have to see though. They love trying to make it harder and harder for people without money to try and fish and do stuff all the time. They're like, this is kind of the rich area, so if you could like keep your filthy, you know, poor persons out of this area, that would be great, you know? We're looking for people with BMWs and Mercedes, okay? Beach fishing? Oh, nice. You going for some stripers? It's about to be beach fishing time of the year, dude, and I got my ass kicked last year. It was rough. I had about 80 gigabytes of footage from GoPro footage of me just not catching anything last year and almost dying a couple times to waves. So I just deleted it all. But I got to make a beach fishing video. But yeah, it was really tough last year. We had really hard surf. Really makes it hard fly fishing. You can catch them with the spinning rod. I brought the spinning rod. I caught a ton of fish. But fly fishing was really tough last year in the surf. Plenty of bait around, hoping to hit some stripers. Dude, it was November last year. Peak, early November. I should be catching bass in the surf. I saw sand eels. I saw anchovies. I saw juvenile, like, herring in, like, right in these holes. There were, like, I mean, if you step in with your waders, you drowned sort of holes. And I was like, dude, this is looking so good. The rips, everything. I didn't catch a single fish. Drove me crazy. And I barely saw dudes catching fish on spinning rods. And it was a lot of nighttime fishing. Which, nighttime surf fishing, you really need to be on your A game. Because, let me tell you right now, that time of year, like I said, you have holes that are deep enough for you to drown in right next to you. So, I mean, you do need to be careful. But, I got to catch a couple fish in the surf this year. Otherwise, I'm pretty certain the little tiny remaining bits of my soul that are left will be officially crushed. Every year I don't catch a fish in the surf in the fall is like, on the fly rod is like, it's like a vampire sucking life out of me. You know what I mean? Damn plebs. That's right. It hobbles me sometimes. Yeah. But man, when you catch a striped bass in the surf, there's no better feeling. They fight harder than anything. They have the pure ocean current and waves and the surf working to their advantage with their giant tails. You're fighting this fish in one of the hardest conditions, and you're on shore. You're dealing with the surf. You're moving around. It's so much fun. I love it. It's one of my favorite ways to ever catch a striped bass is on a beach with a fly rod, with surf. You know, it's tough though. It's tough, especially nowadays. A lot easier when I was younger. All right, let's keep tying. By the way, every fly we tied tonight will absolutely 100,000 million% work for striped bass. Just because every once in a while we have people ask. Pretty much any fly you see on the channel works for such a wide variety of saltwater species. But it's good to reiterate it sometimes. All right, let me look for some more junk feathers for us to use. Because they're just sitting there asking for it, you know? They're like, please pick me. A little Mike Ross music. Let me see, do I have any colored feathers? Oh, I got a couple pink ones, maybe? Yeah, let's use these. Little pink and white. Oh, that's a classic for Albies right there. Nothing like it? Absolutely. You striper fish and you haven't caught like a decent, even a 28-inch, 30-inch fish in the surf. Oh, man, fights so damn hard. So good. It's absolutely my favorite way. Lou Tabery always talked about it. There are a couple different striper anglers that I think Ed Mitchell as well, that like, you just know, dude. It's the way to catch striped bass. But it's also very tough. I have nothing but respect for even spin fishermen, of course, people who are very good at catching striped bass in the surf. It's tough to be consistently good at catching fish in the surf at times, especially during times like now when we have lower striper populations than we used to back in like the early 2000s or 90s or whatever, you know. Yeah, there's nothing like it. All right. Let's tie our belly material on here, or our lighter colors. Oh, dude, I got a cheeseburger. I can't wait. Oh, my God. It's going to be so good. I also did a magic draft. I did because they have quick draft. So I've been saving up my coins. I've been doing some coins on Magic Arena. If you don't know, I play some Magic the Gathering from time to time. But I did quick draft 1-0. I should just retire. The guy hit me with the premature good game when I had 3 life left. And he had 20 life. And I beat his ass. Once he hit me with the premature good game, I knew I was going to win, by the way. Heart of the cards. You never hit it. You never accidentally... It might have been accidental. I think he did it on purpose. I think he did it on purpose. He signed his fate. So I might do some of that tonight, but I do really need to edit that fly tying video, so... But, you know, a couple White Claws. Go ahead, throw a magic draft out the window. Why not? All right, let's get some flash here. Yeah, if you don't know, I do a lot of... I'm pretty much... Everything I do other than fly tying, all my hobby stuff, is about as nerdy as you can get to the max. Card game stuff, miniatures, tabletop role-playing games. I'm pretty much... So, and this is the funny thing, too. Between fishing and all of the hobby stuff I do, every single thing I do is pretty much like one of the #1 rated things that women hate nowadays in dating is men that fish, men that play video games, men that play card games and play with like miniatures and stuff. So I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if you guys know, but potential bachelor status looking pretty good. I just thought that was funny. They've done studies. They're like, women hate dudes that post fishing photos. It's one of the funniest things. They're like, all this guy wants to do is fish. All he wants to do is play video games and play with his magic cards and his miniatures. He's not going to want to go to Kohl's or TJ Maxx with me. I think Meat Canyon made a video on fishing recently. I was dying laughing. Because I had a couple dating apps and this and that. My profile pic was me fishing, of course. Like, oh yeah, dude. Like, what do I want to show that really shows me? Like, yeah, me like with a Albie or something. Meanwhile, some chick's looking at that and is like, oh my god, red flag. I just thought that was so funny. All right, we gotta add pink. I forgot about the pink cackle. I just want to lay it out on there because that was like, that was perfect. That's all right. I'm waiting. I'm gonna just get it like an AI girlfriend eventually, right? Get like a robot. Maybe like tank tracks, so it's all terrain vehicle as well, and I can like sit on a chair, ride my AI girlfriend around. That's the future, by the way. All thanks to Rev. You can blame it on Rev for supporting AI. All right. What's that cool Arnold movie? Was it Total Recall? I forgot, there was some movie like that where you had like a hologram girlfriend. I feel like it was definitely an Arnold movie where he's like a hitman or something. I forgot what movie it is though. I don't think it was Total Recall. I feel like it was maybe like another weird sci-fi Arnold movie or something. Or maybe it was like a Jean-Claude movie, I don't know. Anyways, a lot of those 80s movies with like their weird future dystopian, they were trying to guess like what 2033 would look like and stuff. A lot of it's BS, but some of it's like, you're not too far off, honestly. But the number one predictor of all of mankind is The Simpsons. You gotta watch out for The Simpsons, dude. They're tapped into Nostradamus. I don't know what the hell they're smoking over there. I don't know. I might be able to get away by just wrapping this with just pink. We're gonna try. Maybe we'll do a little orange head on it. Something. Little Tutti Frutti Estaz color or something. Something like that. Dude, these are some bangers. These are some Mike Ross songs right here. Speaking of which, Mike Ross will be coming back. I paid for a Greyhound bus ticket. It's going to take about 3.5 weeks. But he will be back, and then I'm going to put him through a kind of like a boot camp style creator course where I'm going to spray him with a hose every day, wake him up at 6 a.m., have him do push-ups, stuff like that, you know? But we will have Mike Ross tying some flies on Friday nights here and there in the future again. So I just need to find a shirt. What size hook for Albie Mushmouth? Oh, dude, I fish everything. So this applies for every fly. Size 4 to size 2 odd, I'd say. And really, I tie them in size 1 or size 1 odd. I kind of like them larger. If you're tying a mushmouth, I want them to be somewhat substantial, kind of like an Albie hoe. Mickelsons I generally tie smaller. Surf candies can be either or. Albie hoes I generally tie pretty big, 3 inches or so, with a larger profile, and it sticks out. Second it hits the water, they see that bright white Albie hoe, and they just smash it. But with the Albie mushmouths, I was fishing the mushmouths. It's David Skoke fly, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know. Last fall, or this fall, whatever, last fall, with my buddy Mike and his boat Montauk, and I fished a bunch of different ones, and it didn't really seem to make too big of a difference, but again, I had some larger ones, about 3 inches or so, on a size 1 odd, and they were smashing them. And again, I think it's stuck out, you know what I mean? And the fish were coming up and down because they were pressured very heavily. So you had to get your cast at the right moment for them to eat it. I don't think it mattered whether it was a mushmouth, albie hoe, surf candy, epoxy bait fish. Jeff was fishing with small epoxy bait fish. But it did help, I think, having like a larger albie hoe or like a mushmouth at times that just, it smacked the water. The fish, perfect timing. The fish it comes up and it's about to go back down to the bottom, 50 feet below the surface, and it saw the fly and just grabs it. Because they would come up for like 15 seconds or something. There's other times where albies will, early in the morning before they're too pressured, or early in the season before the boats have started hammering them consistently, the fish will come up and they'll stay on the surface for 20, 30, 40, an hour at a time, or 20, 30, 40 minutes, or an hour at a time. And it's just the thing where it's just albies blitzing, and sometimes they'll go up and down, but they're consistently up, which that's a pretty rare thing when you see that. It's generally early in the morning, sunrise, before all the boats are out. And it's generally earlier in the year before everyone starts. There's 5, because there'll be a point in the year later when all the boats everyone's keyed in. The albies are here. It's full-blown albie fishing. Go, 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 go. You'll have dudes on freaking like yacht-sized boats fishing for albies, running through schools of albies in Montauk. It's like a shit show. So earlier in the year or super early in the morning, you can get these crazy bites where they're just not pressured that hard, and there's so much bait, so many albies, there's not even enough boats to pressure them. So you can just sit there and just hammer them. Then as the day gets longer and more boat traffic and more bozos get on the water and start running through feeding schools of fish at like 30 miles an hour, that's when the fish start going down, and they'll only pop up for seconds. Like literally, they'll pop up for 3 seconds, or they'll pop up for 15 seconds. And you have to get your fly in there like instantaneously and strip it or something, and boom, you hook up or something. But a lot of times it's like one dude will get hooked up and then you sit around for like 10 minutes while he's fighting it too, because the fish have just disappeared completely. And you'll still catch, you always blind cast in these scenarios. You will always catch fish blind casting. I've actually caught more albies blind casting than I have traditionally fishing for fish blitzing on the surface. Because you'd be surprised how many albies are still under there feeding, just not on the surface. Or they're looking for injured bait fish or things like that. So, number one rule, there's like a couple number one rules. This is going to be for the albie video we're going to do here soon, which is going to be a giant video. Number one rule: don't chase them too hard, okay? Especially if you're on the rocks. The fish are moving up and down the rocks. Now, if you see consistently they're 50 feet to the left and they're not coming to you, then you can move over and over again. The worst thing you could do, though, back in the day when the albies were running up and down the rocks, they would come down the inlet rocks, they would make a loop in the bay, and they would come back up the rocks and out the ocean. And they would do that over and over again, eating bait, and that's how you would catch them. They wouldn't just pop up in one point. They would make these runs. As the fish were blitzing, people would start chasing the fish down the inlet and down the rocks, but it's almost impossible to try and keep up with them and keep your fly in there. So your best bet, I started catching a ton of fish, and what I was doing is just staying still, staying in one place on the inlet, where I think is one of the best spots, and just consistently blind casting. And almost every single fish I would catch wasn't when they were blitzing, blowing up, and everyone's freaking out, epoxy jigs, hitting people in the head. It would be when I'm blind casting, and it's like 1 or 2 albies. Because if you sat there, I would sit there and smoke cigarettes, smoke trays, all that. And I would just be sitting there watching the water the whole time. And you would see 1 albie just swim by. You would see 2 albies. And I'm like, dude, what's that? I'm like, oh shit, an albie just swam by. And they were literally right next to the rocks. So like you would get these rogue, like 1 or 2 albies swimming alone. Those are the fish that absolutely hammer flies, by the way, too. Because there's like, I don't know what it is. These fish are like alone. They're hunting. They're not with the pack. And they're like just going up and down the rocks. So that's one of your best things you can do, is just keep blind casting over and over and over again. The more time your fly is in the water, the better chance you're going to hook an albie. So that's one of the most important. The biggest albie I ever caught was, I think it was 13.5 pounds. It's on my Instagram. We weighed it with a freaking boga grip. And I only did it because I pulled the fish out of the water. Some guy's like, I got a boga grip. Let's weigh it. I'm like, all right, whatever. And we weighed it. It was like 13.5 pounds. And it was skinny as hell. If this fish was on the North Shore, I would have freaking broken John Skinner's record, I bet you, which is 16 pounds or something for Long Island. And I think that's with a spinning rod. I don't even think that's with a fly rod. But this fish was like huge. It was like an oceanic North Carolina sized Albie, but it clearly had been traveling long distances and was just really skinny, you know? When you get those fish up on the North Shore, and they're more traditional sized Albies, smaller fish, they gorge themselves on bay anchovies. I'm talking about from sun up to sundown. They keep their mouth open and they're swimming through schools of anchovies. So you'll get fish that are just, their belly is like, it almost looks like something's wrong. There's just so much bait in them. And they're just these round football Albies that have a lot of weight to them. But on the South Shore here on Long Island, we'll get these oceanic Albies that are like, these fish are 10, 20, 30 miles out in tuna grounds, 50 miles. And they'll somehow make their way inshore to the inlet because of the bait somehow. Probably following schools of bait or something that are leaving the bays, going out to the ocean. And you'll get these like freaking giant Albies where they're like really long and skinny. But dude, I'll never forget that fish. It took hundreds of yards of backing in a second. I had to scream at the owner of one of the fly shops or local shops. He was on a boat. It was headed right towards him, and this inlet's super wide. And this thing was right headed towards his boat. I fought it so long. And everyone, this is what I want. This is the whole point I brought it up. Blind casting. All of the really good Albie fishermen. There's one dude, Justin. There's another old guy, always smoked a cigar, and I used to hang out with these guys. But these guys would catch way more fish than me, okay? They were just hammering Albies. They're just really good fly fishermen. Really, really good fly fishermen. And everyone, there was no fish. No fish showed up. They showed up early in the morning. Everyone's drinking their coffee. So everyone's smoking cigars, drinking coffee by one of the trucks. Nobody's blind casting. I sat there, shitty time of the tide, low tide, blind casting, blind casting, blind casting. All of a sudden, boom, line goes tight, 100 yards of backing, completely off. I'm using a 10 weight, right, with a half broken TFO Hayden Australian-made fly reel. And, dude, everyone comes running over. When I pull this fish out of the water, they're all standing there, they're with their mouth open, and they're watching me, because nobody thought I would catch anything. They're like, Mike, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. There's no fish here today. I'm like, dude, I bet you there's one Albie. There's got to be one driving up and down the rocks over and over again. And I'll never forget when I pulled that fish out. It was like only 13.5 pounds, but it was like almost like 30 inches or something. It looked like one of those Albies you see in Florida or North Carolina. Those massive ones. But anyways, that's you keep blind casting. Don't stop blind casting. For the love of God, if you're paying to go on a boat to go fishing, you better keep blind casting. Don't sit there and wait for the fish to blow up the whole time. Because I guarantee you're going to catch a fish. Guarantee. Blind cast, blind cast, blind cast, blind cast. It's the #1 rule in Albie fishing. Do not stop blind casting. And don't chase them. Don't chase them all over the place. That's not going to get you anything. Believe me, it took me years to figure that out. Literally years. It's very hard. I'm not going to lie. You don't know how hard it is to stop yourself from chasing a school of Albies. Up and down the beach, up and down the rocks, whatever. It's very easy to succumb to the hype and just start screaming, Albies, 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 and yelling and running around like a freaking chicken with your head cut off. But that's partially where the Albie video we made, where we're making fun of ourselves and other people. Because that's kind of where it came from. And people still do that to this day. You'll see dudes, I've literally seen dudes trip and like break a fishing rod, like a spin rod. Like, dude, you gotta calm down, bro. We're on the inlet. Don't you're gonna crack your head open. It's just Albies. Chill out. Running and like casting over people and snagging people's lines and stuff. There's also an etiquette to Albie fishing that I think is important. But that also just has to do with jetty fishing. If you've ever jetty fished, there's a certain unspoken rule when it comes to jetty fishing with respecting other people and this and that and where you stand and fish. Just like anything else, right? But one thing you'll learn is when you're fishing on a jetty in the Northeast, if you don't respect that, you'll literally have people that will like slash your tires or try and fight you. So it's kind of important to learn for sure. You learn really quick when you're in New York or New Jersey, let's just say. People do not, they will not hesitate to tell you their mind, I'll say, on a fishing jetty. So, but you know, that's part of it, baby. That's what made me the fisherman I am today, you know? And also standing up to some old dude saying, no, fuck you. I was here first. Just because you got a fancy van stall, you're not going to get the spot, buddy. You should have came here earlier. You know what I mean? And being like 14 years old and shit-talking some dude back. Like, no, screw you. I've had people, back in the day, people used to like bully you off of a spot, you know? But then you learn how to grow a pair for yourself, and you're like, all right, I'm a jetty fisherman now. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna work on me, buddy. The sign of a real good jetty fisherman is some dude that just will literally like... literally, like, there's two people fishing. He'll just, like, squeeze himself in between two people and, like, catch a fish right in front of him. Like, boom! It's definitely... It could be combat fishing at times. You gotta watch out. Jetty fishing's crazy. For sure. I bet you it gets a little bit wilder the closer you get to New York City and Jersey at times, too, by the way. Alright. We're gonna wrap up this fly here, chat. I know it's, we haven't hit 3 hours, but I'm starving. I gotta make some food. So, and I've also talked and rambled for the past 2 hours, and I don't know what else to talk about. So, I do need to work on some videos. We got the new fly time video showing this sort of fly off here, and 3 variations of it, and different ways to tie it. That'll be coming out this weekend. And, I think I'm gonna, you know, do some tests on my back end and all that, or on the back end of the Streamwise, and hopefully I'm going to be able to upgrade to a higher bitrate and then also stream in 1080p for you guys. So you will get streams in a higher quality, and of course you can always lower it. You have the option here. But at least you'll have the option to watch it in a higher quality, and then maybe we can use some of our streams in the future for some videos, for instance. So, yo, what's going on, Owen? How you doing? So let's take a look. What do we whip up tonight? We got a couple Albie lizards, which these are going to be the flies that we're covering soon. Essentially stripped down Albie hose. So not everyone has a hot glue gun. Not everyone wants to burn their fingers. So you can just tie them without the hot glue. And then essentially a bunch of variations. I'll show you my favorite. It's going to be between these two, but I think the Kappa Chovy is my favorite. Shout out to the Aussies in the chat. But we tied essentially 4 variations of a stripped down Mickelson's epoxy baitfish. Now this one actually has the body wrapped with the flash and the flash on top. I think we're going to do a version of this. We're going to do a smaller version for anchovies using the root beer flash. That looks really nice. Like that. But this is a stripped down version of a Mickelson's epoxy baitfish. No top tie, just using the body braid, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it. And if you want to, you could throw some dumbbell eyes, which we did for fun. But the other option is, you can just take a marker, you could tie your bucktail all in the back, throw some color on top, and then just hit it with a Sharpie. So this is another thing. Maybe we could do 3 variations of the epoxy baitfish. We could do the Albie bean. We could do the same thing, but with some color on top, with a marker and some colored bucktail, if you don't want to do the fancy tie. And then we could do the Kappa Chovy. We'll see. Maybe it'll be something like this. These 2 will be a video. 2 variations, and then this will be its own video. That'll probably be how it happens. But yes. Look, we've tied a lot of flies. We've covered quite a lot of flies on the channel, and I'm trying to find ways to... Obviously, there's newer flies and stuff I want to cover, but it's also... Stuff like this is showing you how you could take a fly you already know, adapt it in a way, maybe adapting it to make it easy, or maybe adapting it in a way so that if you don't have the right materials, you can still tie it. and you still essentially have just as an effective fly. So, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. But we got a bunch of different flies we got to tie. We got a bunch of different topics we need to cover on the channel when it comes to fishing for albies, fishing from the rocks, this and that. I think what I'm going to start working on this weekend is how to fish for albies, or fly fishing for albies 101. And it might be an introduction into it or something, and then we might do a shore fishing one and a boat fishing one. I don't know. We got to see. I got to figure out how I want to do it, because if I just do a blanket video on fishing for albies, oh my god. It's going to be an hour and 30-minute long video, you know? So, we'll see. Either way, I can always touch on topics again. It's not an issue, so. But, all right, chat. Well, there we go. I've officially blown my voice out for the night chatting. And, what do you call it? We have our new Albie Lizard video that I'm going to be editing. That'll be coming out this weekend, probably on Sunday. And what do you call it? Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm tying flies for some shops, so I'm busy as always. Ordering material. We're going to be covering a couple different flies. I want to do a Henry Cowan Magnum baitfish at some point too, so I might need to order some more of the Slinky and Flash or whatever it's called. But yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff, different stuff we're going to be covering. And I'm definitely excited because it's getting to be that time of the year where it's cooling down and we're starting to get to where the fishing is going to be really good. Or about as good as it can get, because it has not been good for me, I'll tell you that much. But either way, you know, we got a lot of fun stuff. Fall time's always it's my absolute favorite time of the year. The leaves are changing, it gets cooler. It's hot in the day, but nice and cool at night, and you can start wearing a sweater and like a flannel. I'm a big sweater flannel guy, you know what I mean? Nice beanie, you know, all that jazz, so. But, all right, chat. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Jin and Craggroll, thank you for the re-ups on the subs on YouTube. Rev with the membership as well, and then everyone just watching. So Owen, Calvin, again, Rev chilling. Thank you so much, brother. Jin, Barfy, Jim, everybody. Appreciate you folks hanging out. So, all right, chat. You guys have an awesome weekend. Good luck if you guys are going fishing. Don't forget, we got the Discord. Post some flies in there. We'll take a look. We'll be streaming next Friday, but we got a new video coming out probably Sunday. Okay, more than likely Sunday. Worst case Monday, but we got a 3-piece video with 3 flies in one. So either way, appreciate it. You folks have an awesome night, and you guys take it easy, all right? I'm going to go heat up this cheeseburger because I'm starving. So, all right, chat.